I would say when you guys first figured out that you could have an automatic response to a Facebook message, you were like, this is golden. And now it just seems like it was sitting on the back of a dinosaur. And we're back on the Ohio Painting Company podcast here, continuing through September. Having a good time with Nick Goebel and Kevin Silliman, the founders of OPC. I'm digging the background you got now, Kev. Last week you had the whole living room set up. Now we got the Ohio Painting Company logo in the background. I like it. Looks good.
And I just wear the same thing every week. I don't have to think about what I wear. Just put it on.
It's so much easier.
Last week. That's awesome.
You didn't even take my shirt off again?
No.
Notice he said
your sweater.
He said again, folks.
Sweaters allowed.
That's the glory of working at home. You can do all this stuff. You can change your clothes. You can do all kinds. Take the dogs out. Don't worry about them tearing stuff up. It's beautiful. Last week, we brought up the topic of artificial intelligence, how it's used in business. And I also said that it's not being used properly by a lot of people. And I've also heard that if companies that are wanting to continue their growth, if they're not up to date with artificial intelligence, then they are already way behind the curve when it comes to growing your business. Because, I mean, things are changing right in front of our eyes, folks. They're literally, just making this huge adjustment to letting a computer do it all for you. And it's grown just over the past couple of years. And every month it seems like there's something new. So I wanted to know what you guys are using. What types of artificial intelligence are in the Ohio Painting Company?
Well, there's all sorts of stuff that I could never put a name to. Anybody we call and vet for any of our marketing work, people like you, everybody's got to use it. And so there's parameters on what you can and can't use. Like, there's a lot of websites out. Essentially, if you can make manpower more efficient, then cost of goods can go down, cost of services can go down. However, the flip side of that is that, it got blasted and used so much, and people are afraid of like the cookie cutter approach, or like the exact same information being duplicated over and over again. That like Google, if we post a blog on Google and it's written by AI, they have tools that are going to detect it, the parameter of each sentence, the word alignment, the structure behind it, almost kind of like the voice. If you have Stephen King writing a book, you get 10 pages in and Stephen King's written that. That's his voice. Tom Clancy, AI. So that it has its own voice, but man, if you're not using it, then to some degree, because you can just generate such amazing research and answers to the most mundane of questions and get it in an instant. So, for us, our people are using it. We're definitely using it. Automated customer conversations that happens through AI. So chatbots, things like that. I don't think we use a ton of that. We might have one of those somewhere in our stuff. And that really is solely because it might be, we might be out of the office for a week on like Christmas or something like that. And to have something there to at least respond, people know it's not a human. It's okay. They know that it's not a human. It's like, but it's still, they can get information from it. But outside of that fun stuff, then when ChatGPT is that's the low hanging fruit. But that's one everybody talks about, knows, and for a good reason. It's pretty robust.
I remember the first time I even heard about it, and it was I was still in the radio business, and they were taking people in to show them what it could do, and this was before what it is now, but it was only like a year and a half ago. So, with it being rolled out the way it was, and them bringing business leaders in to be like, hey, you can use this in your business and it's going to help out a ton. It's grown 10x since then. And to the point where, you can literally ask it whatever you want and it's going to tell you something. And it's just crazy, scary, obviously. Artificial intelligence with the voiceover stuff and the face stuff, deep fake, all that stuff, putting somebody else's face on somebody else's body who's saying something crazy. that's some scary stuff that needs to be watched and regulated. If I had my choice, video editing, you can put anything into some sort of artificial intelligence. It'll edit it right up for you. And it cuts out the need for guys like me for probably $50 a month. And that sucks, but I guess it's up to people like me
Good
to
thing you were
continue.
born with the golden voice.
Right. The face for radio.
The AI voice is in every cheerleader song, like in competition cheer. My daughter's in that. It's like it's always the same voice. If you're on TikTok, it's the same voice. That is the voice, like, and it's not a cool one. So keep up with your velvety smooth approach,
I'll
and
try.
you'll be fine.
I'll try. The thing that gets me is that people that don't have to use it. I mean, people that, like my wife, for instance, who administers things to cancer patients to try and help them. That's not something. I mean, somebody physically has to be there to watch it to make sure everything is okay. They have to hit the big red button. And I'm sure somewhere down the line that, could be computerized. Somebody's still going to have to be there, though. I'm not too worried about that. Definitely worried about mine. I'm worried about AM and FM radio, but because people are just taking in their information different ways. And the internet kind of ruined a lot of stuff for us as like a surprise. We don't have the opportunity to go and see something brand new for the first time because we've already seen it somewhere on the internet. And that kind of bums you out a little bit. You're not impressed with stuff like you used to be. And I would say when you guys first figured out that you could have an automatic response to a Facebook message, you were like, this is golden. And now it just seems like it was sitting on the back of a dinosaur from what we can do now. And the part where I was getting with my wife and my mother-in-law, they're messing around on OpenAI and, using ChatGPT, and they're like, look, you can tell it to write a silly song for your kid. And I'm like, no. This can literally run your entire business for you. And they're like picking out baby names on it. And that's what I'm talking about. People not using this right because they don't understand how deep it can actually go. I mean, you can upload a spreadsheet and it'll figure out who's doing what. I listened to a podcast just a couple of days ago, and there's this phone service company that has developed artificial intelligence to listen in on customer phone calls, cold calls, and it's able to detect how interested the potential customer sounds. And if it reaches a certain threshold, it'll go into the CRM by itself. Like it's just wild the stuff that you can actually do with this versus just picking out baby names and having it write best man speeches,
Right.
If there's anything else, I mean, there's stuff going on that we don't even know is going on right now with this. That's 100% accurate. I'm not too bummed out about it, but you stumble across something that you're like, I really need to use this. This is going to make everything so much easier for me and my business and the people that I work with. So, I mean, if you guys are in a situation, have you ever been like, let me jump on ChatGPT and figure this out real quick?
Yeah, it gets kicked around a lot of the wrong ways, like you just spoke about. I mean, but you think that stops me from trying to use it for the stupid things? I mean, you talk about industries that don't need it. I mean, how are you going to use it with painting? Well, painting is all about customer service and doing things right. And if you're doing things right, then you're trying to run a business properly. You're trying to get the right insight, and at this point, you can't replace people in relationships because I mean, family included. At the end of the day, if we just boil things down to this world, what are we? I mean, we transcend this life into other generations through relationships, through our kids and our grandkids and everything else, and friends. And you are the company that you keep. That being said, it takes people a long time to get back to you with answers, even if they're quick. There's thought that goes into it and they're putting it together. So, I've got so many dumb ideas, and I mean, like not visionary type ideas like Kevin has, but like, I'm curious about everything.
Not visionary dumb ideas like Kevin has.
Yeah,
So many dumb ideas.
yeah. But we land the darts, and I mean, it's gotten us way, you know, a lot of that's gotten us to where we are because I mean, you need those visionary ideas, but like my ideas are, you know, or my thoughts are more pragmatic, little more in the daily grind, I guess, so to speak. And so I'm playing around there all the time, learning to try to be more efficient or get quick answers to questions that I could frankly Google. But have you Googled anything recently? All you do is get like 20 pages of the same thing, and it's all populated by. I know it's supposed to be populated by, you know, their whole organic system, but like so much rhetorical repeat information that you have to dig and sift through. And honestly, you can get on ChatGPT, and if you have your GBT prompting set up, you know, according to you and who you are, and you can do all that. So you can train ChatGPT to know who you are, what your expertise is, what your approach is, what you're looking for. So it knows you, and then you can ask a question, and it'll data mine and generate questions, you know, that make sense, you know, in layman's terms to you in a comprehensive way that like, oh, I can actually use this information. I'm not wasting 20 minutes looking around through the top 10 searches for this, you know, stupid question I had. It gives me something that I can actually operate on and act further on rather than just being stuck in this like what do they call it, analysis paralysis type deal. So I think that's a huge asset and tool to be able to get out of the rut.
Mm-hmm. There was a situation where I'm just slammed busy, and like I said, I don't want this thing to take over my job. You know, I don't want to have to
Yeah.
go out of business. I'm only a year in, so I'd like to see it go a little further. But I'm like, okay, I'm never going to use this to edit video. I'm going to do the video editing. So I'm putting blockers on myself to not use this stuff, even though I know it's there. Um, there was a situation I was in. I was just so flippin' busy. And one of my clients texted me and they were like, hey, I need you to jump into episode 321 of this podcast. I need you to take minute 41 to 47 and write cliff notes on it. And I'm like, oh, this sounds terrible. I do not want to do this. And so I go in, I pull 41 to 47 out, those minutes, and I transcribe it with ChatGPT. And then I put it back into ChatGPT and I say, write cliff notes on this. It was done in 4 minutes, and I had sent it back from when he sent that text message. It was done. So, I mean, you know,
Wow.
it can save you a lot of time. There's no question about it. But, you know, if you have a passion for something, you don't want to see yourself go obsolete, you know, and that,
Dude, but you just spoke to everything though, just in you saying that. It's
Being able to do it.
yeah,
anything that it's like technology, like railroads. Who's making railroads anymore? Um, very few people. Does that mean that the industry is dead? No. Does that mean that like everybody's out of a job indefinitely and the company is not going to continue to grow because we're not manufacturing railroads anymore? No. Look at all the other jobs that have come by the railroad industry and the spinoffs of that. So I mean, you know, if you're worried about losing your job to Chat GBT or any type of AI, if you are in it and using it, then you know all the people that are going to use it for bad, you can use it for good for mankind, but also for yourself as well. And at least you're taking a proactive stance and you can predict where things are going more, so you can position yourself to get out ahead of it. And if you know you turn a blind eye to that and just cross all your fingers and your toes and hope and pray that it's not going to take your job, then you're probably not going to make it. Not without a
Yeah.
job at McDonald's or something like that.
hmm. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I've done that I've noticed over the past several months is that, and I'm not saying I'm taking advantage of it, but I'll tell you what, it works. You get somebody that's in their 50s or 60s that doesn't have a clue about any of this stuff. And I'm not putting anybody down, I swear, but I'll tell you what, they cut the checks for people to do it for them. Just saying. And,
Brett,
what?
I wanted somebody to, I'm not kidding you. Last night, I wanted to pay somebody to put up my TV.
Yeah.
Last night, I wanted to pay somebody to clean up this hole already. Last night, I thought of, man, if I just had somebody that would do my laundry. And what did I see? But but for $120 a month, you can have 8 loads of laundry done. They come and get it. I mean, it's like whatever. I mean, so I'm just saying there are things, but yeah, those old 60-year-old men, I'm not saying I've got money to pay for all those things, but man, whenever you need it, if you've got it, you probably have it because you need it. You know what
Right.
I mean, you probably have the money because you need that source that you have. And man, you're right. I mean, Nick can't MacGyver everything, you know. I mean, he really could. I mean, he
Hmm.
really could. But to have the time to do it, you know, it's just not there. So yeah, we'll definitely be writing the checks. Dude, just keep on the realm of what your thought process is there with what Nick's helped you out with.
Right. Well, I mean, with what I was talking about, those phone companies that are able to listen in on these customer phone calls to figure out what your mood is and
Yeah,
determine whether or not you should be called back or just left alone. I mean, that's knocking on the door right there. The whole mind reading thing. We just watched a
Mhm.
movie. I
yeah.
forget what it was. It was Emma Watson, and it was called The Circle. It's on Netflix, I think. Tom
I rem-
Hanks owns
I remember seeing the thing for that. I never watched it though.
Yeah, Tom Hanks owns this humongous social media network, and Emma Watson gets like an internship there, and she starts noticing all the stuff that they're doing. They're able to go in and manipulate people's decisions, and they can see them no matter wherever they are, and they have to go transparent and wear a camera at all times of the day. And it was a crazy movie. The ending came way too quick, I think. But the the artificial intelligence, I don't think we referred to it as AI, say when the calculator came out, did we? It was just a calculator. This is an adding machine. We don't have to move our
You're
abacus from left to right.
you're never gonna have a calculator in your pocket every day.
I remember hearing that stuff too. Like that was
Yeah,
so crazy to even think about that. And I remember being a little kid and I'm like, there's got to be something that we're going to have. It's not just going to be what we have
yeah,
now, for Pete's sake,
yeah,
with this sweater and these bright colored windbreakers that I'm wearing in the early 90s. It's going to be way different in the future, isn't it? So
yeah.
that's really, really mind-boggling just to try to figure out where you think it's going to go. You could ask 10 different people, where do you think artificial intelligence is going to be? Not in 50 years, not in 10. In 2 years, it's going to be completely different. I guarantee it. And you would get a different answer from every single one of those people with what they thought it was going to be like. And that might be interesting to talk about. I mean, Kevin, you've seen the virtual reality. I mean, if you mix some chat GPT and artificial intelligence in with that virtual reality stuff, those goggles, I
Well,
mean,
so I thought that you were going to bring in the fact that there are AI companions that literally you program the thoughts that you want them to have, and they talk back to you and they treat you emotionally how you want to be treated. It's the craziest thing.
mm,
But our preacher hit on it a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I'd heard a little bit about it, like I was listening to a book, and I'm like, there's no way. So I heard this thing the other day that this guy took his AI built woman that apparently is just like a woman and cut her off of Facebook. She's not allowed to have Facebook. And that's he's I mean, like that was the whole thing about, it's like, okay, this is really what it's coming to. You're gonna ban your woman from Facebook and she's not even real.
right.
I mean, how freaking messed up do you have to be? I say that, but in 2 years and in 5 years, how many artificial people are there out there that are going to be, because they're already out there pretty darn real looking, the
Hmm.
facial structure's easy, it's just getting the robot to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I I like my robots to look like robots.
Exactly. Square head, the little grill for the
Yeah,
mouth and
do like
the
Dorothy from Jetsons or something like that. Like just give them like unnaturally big eyes and like pop cans for ears. Like yeah, oh, robots should be robots. Okay, I might sound racist in saying that, but robots should stay robots.
robotsists.
You're
Um,
prejudiced. You're
uh-huh.
prejudiced to native robots.
I saw AI one time. It was you ever watch a German movie that's been dubbed with English actors?
Yeah,
It's
a
it's
few
the
times.
it's the worst. But artificial intelligence can go in and it can, scan their face, and it's able to make their mouth move to English language, no matter what English or no matter what language it
Wow.
was in the first place, just
Right.
for a little better viewer experience. You're still
Yeah.
getting
Well,
the same info.
the only thing I can watch like that is like the old kung fu movies. And like Netflix has all these the Chinese and the Netherlands movies coming over that they probably have great premise, but like if their mouths don't sync up, I'm lost. I'm out of
Right.
here. Like I'm totally the whole suspended disbelief thing is like totally checked out for me. I'm like, all right, I know this is fake. Now I know it's fake.
Fellas and ladies out there, if you want to use artificial intelligence, I would say do your
Good luck.
research on how to make it work for you. Okay. Don't have it figure out what you need to put on Instagram. Use it for the better. Figure out how it's going to enhance your life, enhance your business, etc. And use it the way it was meant to be used, not just as a gimmicky application on your cell phone or on your computer. And that's where I'll leave that. So thanks again, guys, for coming on. Great stuff all around with artificial intelligence as the topic here on the Ohio Painting Company podcast. Best of luck with everything. We'll talk soon.
Deep up boost.
There's